All right, guys, we are now live. Come on in here. Let's talk.
This again will bring down energy prices.
Dear God Garage, what's going on? Number one, how are you?
Nobody can even believe. Probably 50, 60%, maybe even more than that. A lot of them don't even pay energy because they have no energy. They use log to go out and cut down a tree. It's really a terrible situation. So we're going to get this done, and we can have it done once we start construction. We're looking at anywhere from 9 to 12 months, if you can believe it.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in.
I'd like Doug to mention
Trump.
600.
Boy, I tell you what did I say? The week's not over yet. Ending wars, making progress, making America great again, right? Just making things cheaper, except for those damn eggs. What the hell's going on with those eggs? And what the hell's going on with my jaw here? Eggs.
We're putting it back. It will be back as of this afternoon. Doug, could you mention that?
Hello, everybody. Come on in.
Millions and millions of acres that he just handed back.
Yes, the executive order by President Biden that wiped out these trillions from our balance sheet. President
John
Trump
H., how
signed
are
an
you?
Executive order instructing me as the Secretary of Interior to unban that.
I did
ban,
too, John.
And, that's been accomplished, and so those are back on the U.S. balance sheet.
Okay.
Sorry, which one is that? The 625
Mike, how are you,
million
Mike?
acres of
Good to see you.
offshore that was banned from further.
What's going on?
Further anything.
625 million acres is
Right.
1/3 the size of the lower 48 that was taken off our balance sheet. It's back on there now. President Trump cares about the American people. He
Fabian,
knows that
what's
these
happening,
public lands
Fabian?
belong to the public. They don't belong to Washington bureaucrats from the prior administration, and we're going to make sure that we get a return on investment for the American people.
The amount of money that he took off our balance sheet.
Return to the people. See, those are the words that a lot of us want to hear, right? Democrat, Republican, people don't care about. Return, right? We want a return, just like in taxes, right? I can't remember when I got a return on my taxes, right? A return from a Republican president, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. But this man here, a return. Anyhow, just coming in, guys, Trump is addressing, he's been talking to Putin very closely. He just has ways, what the hell's going on my chin here? He has ways to handle Putin, and he's making progress, and I believe this war is going to stop with right around next week, real early next week.
If you look at his balance sheet, it was incalculable. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And he did that, I guess, in the last few days of the administration. He just wiped it out. 635 million acres, which if you sit down and look, it's like that's a major part of the ocean. And he just gave it away and took it away. And fortunately, it wasn't done with an act of Congress or anything. And we did it in a, I think, very abbreviated, very quick, and very legal procedure. And it's now back on our balance sheet. It's back as part of our country. What they did was so horrible. It was just a terrible thing to do, an unbelievable thing to do. Also, they mentioned dishwashers and sinks and showers and all.
He looks he looks very confident to me right here, very relaxed. For me, looking at him, it's like he feels positive on the war and progress for all of us. I mean, it's amazing. He's been in office for what, a couple of weeks. He looks very confident. I mean, look at his hands. Very confident on the people that are in charge. Interesting, huh? I mean, just look at him. Very confident, in charge of the nation.
We're going to get rid of those restrictions. You have many places where they have water. They have so much water they don't know what to do with it. But people buy a house, they turn on the sink and water barely comes out. They take a shower and water barely comes out. And it's an unnecessary restriction. And basically, I think we were going to be going back to the Trump rule. We had it, and everybody was happy. And then these people came in and they
I got no
restricted it
pressure in
again.
my
So
house.
we're
That was going
back
on.
We'll get it
I got no
approved
water
by Congress.
pressure.
In addition, we'll get it approved by Congress. So for 4 years, it's good, but we're going to get it permanently taken care of.
Oh, permanently.
And again, very environmentally friendly. But we want to be able to, when somebody
I hear
gets
you,
on
John
the
H.
sink
I
to
hear
wash
you.
their hands or presses the button for a
Boulders
dishwasher.
408. First of all, welcome in,
there's
Bullets. Hope you're doing
barely
well.
enough
God
water
bless you.
to- I
A
mean,
lot of
there's no
federal
water.
employees are losing their jobs.
And,
Yeah.
You know what
And they
do?
voted for him.
Press the
Come
button
on in,
10
guys.
times.
Happy Saturday. Hope
They
you're having a
run
good
it 10
weekend.
times. So it ends up costing a lot more. So I know you're working on that, and where are we on that?
We're working closely with the Department of Energy with regards to rules that were enacted during the Biden administration. Inside of the EPA, we are overhauling.
Mary Jo, how are you,
water
Mary Jo?
sense, standards that are there to update them for the American people, to bring down cost of living and combat inflation, and just pursue common sense.
Common
We
sense.
have
Somebody
more
just said it
oil
in the
and gas
chat.
than anybody else in the world. We're opening up and
I appreciate the
As you
9
know,
likes.
we got
Happy
something
Saturday,
Ronald
guys.
Reagan
Listening to
couldn't do it.
Trump.
No president was able to do it. I got it. And the first week in office, the Biden administration terminated that. Anwar is the biggest site, probably bigger than Saudi Arabia. We don't know yet, but it's of that size or bigger. And we hit gold, and I call it liquid gold, but we hit gold, and for whatever reason, they terminated it, and we were just ready to start utilizing it. This could take care of all of Asia, energy-wise.
This is important
Very
stuff,
close
guys.
to Japan. In fact, Japan wants to go and be our partner doing the pipeline going right into the ships.
Billy French, how are you?
They expressed tremendous interest. So did
Stiff
Prime
Richard,
Minister
what's
Modi
going
of
on?
India.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen,
And
welcome in.
Disney
Happy
Plus.
Saturday. We're going to listen in to Trump. This is a big deal, guys. Listen in. This is a big deal on this weekend with the war. I mean, it sounds like to me the war, you got to listen, the war is going to end real soon, both wars. And Trump is very confident, sitting there. He just looks confident, right, on his face and everything. I believe the economy is going to get spectacular. We're going to be making so much fossils. He's firing a lot of IRS people, and we're going to get into that in the middle of our hour on the IRS, because remember, a lot of those IRS they hired on the Biden administration, they were going to come after middle people like us, like if you had eBay or whatever, even like YouTube channels, small people. They were hiring in the IRS, the extra IRS people, to go after the middle class people and take us down and destroy us, in my opinion. So now they hired all these IRS, right? Remember that if you made 600 or more, or if you got a Zelle or anything like that, or Venmo. Sorry, I take that back. So he was a lot of these IRS are gone. They're finished because he says no, we don't need them coming after the middle class people.
Both Prime Minister Modi and the Prime Minister of Japan, both very good people. They said we couldn't make a deal. We couldn't get any energy. I mean, you wonder what was going on with our country. They couldn't make a deal to get any energy from the Biden administration. They just couldn't do it. There was nobody to deal with. They didn't know how to go about it.
I hear you, Billy
And
French.
they're very happy that
I hear
we're
you.
here, but we're going to really benefit our taxpayers and we're
And
going to
medical
benefit
bills.
our country. So I want to thank everybody for coming. This is a very big bill. This is really going to be energy dominant. We're going to be energy dominant like nobody else. And this doesn't even discuss all of the electricity that we're going to be producing for all of the AI plants. They need double the electricity at least that we have right now. So you take all of our electricity that we have all over the country just for AI to do
Then
it
he
right
says
and
it's
to win
cleanup
that war,
time.
which we're leading
Forget
by a
about
lot because of what we've done over the last few weeks. We're leading by actually a lot. But if you take all of it, we have to double our electricity needs just for the AI, and that doesn't include the other technologies. So it's a real honor to sign this bill. We're going to also work on CAFE standards. Lee, you're going to be doing that. And
It's a big bill, guys.
make that whole situation, bring that back into reality, and I think very quickly, having to do with cars. Thank you very much.
Nobody had any tariffs yesterday as part of your meeting?
No, but in 2 weeks we will have another one. Yesterday was very big. Reciprocal tariffs was very big, and I explained to the Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, very good man.
That was yesterday.
His tariffs are very, very high. India's tariffs are among the highest.
AKA
And
Caroline.
I said, well,
Happy
now,
Saturday.
we
God
were
bless
very
you.
low. We were the lowest. They're just about the highest. There are others as high, but not much higher. And I said, no. From
Good
now on,
afternoon.
What we do is what you charge us, we charge you. It's very simple. So whatever you're charging us, you go as high as you
JFF88, how
want.
are you?
Whatever you
I hear
charge
you,
us,
Bear. How are you?
we charge
Yeah,
you.
this is big day, guys.
I
Working
didn't
on
say
this
there was
Saturday,
no
huh?
To hear that, but that's the way it is. Tariff, I told you, is a beautiful word. Fourth most beautiful.
Did you make any pledges about BRICS nations not undermining the dollar? You had threatened 100%
Yeah.
tariffs.
BRICS, the BRICS nations I think that's breaking up very rapidly. We said that if they're going to go in and do anything to undermine the dollar, that includes China. I don't even know that they're a member of BRICS, but they had a few nations get.
Fist bump, guys. Welcome in. This is a big day.
And,
You know, I just today had to drop off my taxes, and as soon as I walked in, my CPA goes, "It's going to be a good tax season."
It's all broken up.
I mean, he feels confident. Everybody feels confident.
Now, that would be a terrible thing for our country. It would be bad for the world. They wanted to undermine the dollar. 6 nations got together. They wanted to undermine
Bruce
the dollar.
Matthews, how are you, Bruce?
That didn't work out too well. Not going to happen. And we're getting along with a lot of nations now, frankly. There's a lot of respect for the United States.
Appreciate that, John H.
Regained the respect that we should have, and but we've also done things to deserve it. I mean, we've freed up our country, and you're going to see this is basically energy dominance, and it's going to be environmentally clean, environmentally wonderful, and taxes will be very reasonable based on this. We're going to make
Taxes.
more money than anybody's ever made with
There you
energy.
go.
We have more energy than anybody else.
I hear you,
and it's
Canada.
Clean energy, very clean.
I hear you,
beautiful
Canada.
Energy. We're lucky. We have it. I call it liquid gold under our feet, and we're going to utilize it.
Liquid gold.
So this is a very big bill, and I have a very talented group of people behind me. This gentleman was the #1 man in all of the oil industry. They said there's nobody like him, Chris Wright. And you know Doug. Doug actually made a tremendous fortune in technology, and he said, I'm going to run for the governorship of, he loves this state, of North Dakota. And he did, and he made it.
Yeah, speaking
so
of gold,
energy
yeah,
powerful.
$3,000.
I think he's.
I hear you, Mike.
I think you're more proficient in energy than technology, but what do I know? And this guy, everybody knows him, Sean. He's been, he's done a fast study on transportation.
Come on in, guys. We're listening to Donald Trump here, and
learned a
he's
lot
making progress
Over
here.
the last few months, he's learned a lot. He's
Trying to end the war in
he's
Ukraine and
great.
Russia.
Howard has built one of the great
Gold.
companies,
Gold's up.
Cantor Fitzgerald. It was wiped out, completely wiped out, other than a few people left in Europe. And he rebuilt the company into a bigger, better company. Cantor Fitzgerald is one of the most, absolutely one of the top companies on Wall Street, stocks, bonds, trading. And he took that, I mean, he literally watched the plane go into the building, go into the World Trade Center. Amazing story. That alone.
Told
is
my
an
husband
amazing
I love
story.
to
It was
die.
delayed because his wife insisted that
Bruce, you're
he
quick, Bruce.
finally, after years, take his child to school. So he took his
I'm
child
paying
to school
again,
that one
but not
day,
as-
'cause normally
hopefully
he would
not
have
as
been in
much.
the building at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's that business, right? So you owe your wife a lot and your child a lot, right? But his wife insisted that he take his child to school. For 5 years he didn't do it. He was horrible. What kind of a father was he? Okay, I'll do it. And he was therefore driving down at 8:43, whatever the time was, down the West Side Highway, and he saw the plane go into the side of the building. He said, wow.
Welcome in, guys.
And
Happy
he
Saturday.
occupied the top 3 floors of the World Trade Center, of the one building of the World Trade Center. And you know what happened there? He lost 100% of the people in that, his whole company was there. And he rebuilt his company step by step over years.
Welcome in
And
the chat,
became
guys.
bigger
Listening
and
to Trump.
stronger. And he gave a tremendous amount of the profit to the families of the people that died, which he didn't have to do. And now he's working with us. He did an incredible job. I mean, anybody in that world, Howard Lutnick very well, and I'm honored to have him in Commerce. He's going to be incredible. He loves the country. And Lee was a great lawyer, a great congressman, very successful person, both as a lawyer and as a congressman, and knows a lot about the environment, cares about the environment. And we were lucky that I was very happy that you joined. And he was with me right from the beginning, always was with me, and I've always been with him. And Kevin Hassett, we know everybody knows Kevin, and he's fantastic. And you and Lindsay, you and your team are incredible. The job you've done, we really appreciate. Thank Will. And the job you guys are doing is really fantastic. We're knocking this out. Brian, do you have
Motor
a question?
Oil. How are you, Motor Oil?
What kind of piqued my interest is growing up on the Texas Gulf Coast, natural gas, the LNG that you mentioned.
Yeah.
What's the potential for like new jobs or growth in that
I hear you,
area?
Danny.
Because that part of the country, Southwest Louisiana, Southeast Texas, they depend on that.
Oh, I would say that potential is simply tremendous.
Hello, Midwestern Life.
You know,
How are
20
you?
years ago, the United States was the biggest importer of natural gas in the world.
Wow.
And we had natural gas prices 2 or 3 times higher than they are today. But with shale revolution and great entrepreneurs in Texas and Louisiana and across our great country, we are now today the largest net exporter of natural gas in the world. And so much of the world is depending upon natural gas is the fastest growing energy source, has been for 50 years. We were the driver of that, and then we paused. We stopped our ability to grow natural gas exports.
Scooby, how are you, Scooby? Good to see you, Scooby. How's Scooby doing? Good to see you. Big stuff right now, guys. Very confident. Getting very close to ending the war. Both wars, actually. Making America great again. Common sense again. Cheaper, affordable again. Got rid of a lot of the IRS guys. A lot of those IRS guys were just out there wasteful spending going to them. And who are they coming after? A lot of us. They were hiring people who were making $600 transaction. For an example, you bought a TV, you sold it on eBay, you had to claim that. And Trump's getting rid of a lot of the garbage. Speaking of garbage, Trump's getting rid of a lot of the garbage to help out all Americans.
Thank you, Brian. And I will say this, that this all started 8 years ago when I got elected. We were doing this, not to the extent that we're doing it now, but we were doing this, and we became number one in oil and gas by far. And we were number 3, even number 4, some would say. When I left, we were number 1 by a lot. And then they pulled way back, and the prices started going through the roof. And
I
then
hear
they
you,
went
Stiff
back to
Richard.
my plan, but by that time the prices had already gone up, so they really disrupted it. But now we're going to take it to a new level. It's going to be amazing, and we're also it's very powerful. Clean coal. We have more coal than anybody. This is good, beautiful, clean coal. And if you notice, China's opening up a coal plant a month. Germany is now opening up a coal plant every 2 months. Very powerful. It's probably the most powerful source of energy in terms of generation of electricity and other things. And we're going to utilize our good, clean, beautiful coal. And
Yeah, Frank, I think they are, Frank.
we have more than
Some of
anybody
them
in
are,
everything.
Frank Eagle. I agree.
We're going to take advantage of it, and I appreciate everybody being here.
Christine, how's Christine doing?
What's happening in Munich? Senator Roger Wicker shepherded Defense Secretary Hegseth through his confirmation. He got him through that process, and then he had some tough words for him overseas. He said it was a rookie mistake for Secretary Hegseth to outline what would or would not happen as far as Ukraine's membership
Excuse me.
NATO goes. And then
I haven't heard that. I mean, Roger's a very good friend of mine, and Peter's obviously, he's been doing a great job. I haven't heard. Let me look at. You tell me something. I have not heard
the
about.
question I had is, were you aware of what Secretary Hegseth was going to say in his speech at NATO?
Generally speaking, yeah. Generally speaking, I was. So I'll speak to Roger. I'll speak to Pete. I'll find out.
Mr. President, the Energy Dominance Council, that is for all forms of energy? Does that include
All
wind and
forms of
solar?
energy. Yep.
And the pipeline you mentioned, sir, is that Constitution Pipeline in New York?
Yes.
Can you, is
Yes,
that the
I
project?
believe so, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. And, you know, they've been trying to get it for 20 years. And what it means is for New York, upstate New York, and even everywhere in New York, also other states, but in particular,
Constitution.
New England, that New England will now,
pipeline.
I think will cut
Listen
the
in, guys.
energy prices, and big cuts in New York too, but cut the energy
Sherry,
prices.
how's Sherry doing?
Literally, and if we have the permits, we have permits that just about everything we need, a New York permit, and I would imagine they want to.
I love you,
energy
Sanders. How
prices
are you?
come
Happy
down
Saturday.
so far. And it's a lot of jobs for New York. It's a great thing for New York. Everybody wants it. We'll be meeting with the various governors, Governor of New York, and the other governors too. And we can have it built in about 9 months, and let's say 1 year, but we can actually have it built in pretty close to 9 months. So
9 months.
Most of the permits, almost.
Freezing in southern Indiana. Very cold in Vegas. 9 months. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope you've had a great Valentine's Day. Trump looks confident, looks awake, looks focused, heading in the right direction, ending wars, pipelines, a lot going on.
So the steel, I saved the steel industry in my first term by putting on tariffs because China was dumping massive amounts of steel. Others also, but mostly China. And I put very substantial. We took in $600
Dear God Garage, thank you very
worth of
much.
Tariffs from China. No
Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it for the homeless people. Thank you so much. Today, we didn't get a chance to go out there, but yesterday, we got helped out a lot of people.
What I did, but
A lot of homeless. Put that on mute just for 1 second. Welcome in, guys. So thank you, Bear Guy. All thanks to you. Appreciate it. We helped out a lot yesterday. And thank you for Adriana, his beautiful wife who lives here local. Bunch more clothes. We got so much clothes in my garage, so we're going to give them all out. We're helping so many out, and they're so grateful. So happy. They just want that conversation, so we appreciate that.
Dumping stopped. And had I not done that, you wouldn't have one steel mill, I think I can say, not one steel mill operating in this country. And we need steel. We need steel.
Yeah, we need
some
steel.
things you have to have, and steel is one of them for military, etc. So I think steel is going to be very strong. It's going to be very strong. I think it'll go back to being really powerful. We saved it. We were talking about U.S. Steel last week. U.S. Steel would have been closed, totally closed. We saved it. And now it's
Yeah,
going to become,
U.S.
I think,
Steels.
very, very profitable. The tariffs are going to save a lot of industries.
I got to say, that was kind of funny.
Follow up on US
Yeah,
Steel, just
go
very
ahead,
quickly.
finish up.
A little funny.
Is if the Japanese company that's interested in US Steel wants to take a minority stake as opposed to full ownership, is
A
that
minority stake, I wouldn't mind greatly, but what they're doing right now is they're going to be investors, and they're going to be investing in, I think, debt and various other things. But
John H., don't
we didn't
worry
want to
about
let
it. God
US
bless
Steel
you.
Go to a foreign company. And U.S. Steel was the greatest company in the world.
There, got garage. Me
15
and
years.
Maribel, she's
You know,
upstairs
it's a big
cleaning.
deal.
We appreciate you so much. You and everybody on here. So thank you very much. John H., don't worry about it. Just enjoy the content, interact with people on here. We appreciate you. Maribel's upstairs cleaning stuff. Get rid of some clothes. I said, don't get rid of my Eagles stuff. She's, I'm going to get rid of these Eagles shirts you haven't worn. I said, whoa, it's bad luck. We appreciate it, dear God. Leave my Eagle stuff alone.
Speech to the conference has ruffled quite a few feathers in Europe.
What did you say to ruffle them? I don't know.
True Aussie Ray. What's happening with True Aussie Ray today?
In Europe. Do you believe that European leaders have a fundamentally different view of
True
the world
Aussie
than
Ray
this
is
administration?
in
Well,
the
I heard a
house.
speech. I tell you, you're talking about JD's speech, right?
Yes, sir.
How about
I heard
those
a
birds,
speech,
huh?
He talked about
How about those
freedom of
birds?
speech, and I think it's true in Europe. They're losing their wonderful right of freedom of speech. I see it. I mean, I thought he made a very good speech, actually, a very brilliant speech. Yeah, Europe has to be careful. And he talked about immigration. And Europe has a big immigration problem. Just take a look at what's happened with crime. Take a look at what's happening in various parts of Europe. I thought his speech was very well received, actually. I've heard very good remarks.
And in regards to Ukraine as well, yesterday you mentioned that you thought
Absolutely free speech. Should be free speech everywhere. You have your right to agree or disagree.
Ukraine or Russia?
It's your right.
Well, I think this.
Have
I
they
think
bear?
that,
Absolutely, my
there are a
friend.
lot
You can
of people
disagree
to
all
blame.
day
All I
long.
can say is
God
very
bless.
simply, if I were president, that war would never have happened. And you know what else wouldn't have happened? The Middle East wouldn't be all blown up.
Excuse me.
October 7th wouldn't have happened either. Those two areas, you wouldn't have inflation, you wouldn't have October 7th, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine fighting. None of those things would have happened if I were president.
Mr. President?
I hear you, Michael.
You mentioned auto tariffs the other day. When do you plan to unroll?
Howard, I'd say over the next, sometime, or maybe around April 2nd. I would have done them on April 1st. Believe it or not. I'm a little superstitious. No, literally, we had it planned for April 1st. I said, listen.
April 1st.
April 2nd. You know how much
Very
money
welcome.
that costs? That
You're
costs a
very
lot of
welcome,
money
Christine.
just
You know
that
that. God bless you.
We're going to do it on April 2nd.
April
I think.
1st.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay? Thank you.
The lead
I hear you, Frank. Go Birds.
Resigned today, saying.
Rooster,
press forward
what's happening to Rooster Cogsburn? How are you?
And to the overall implication that politics were at play here.
Well, I don't know about it. I mean, obviously, I'm not involved in that. But I would say this, that if they had a plan, and these are
Hey,
mostly
K.A.
people
Caroline.
from the previous administration.
Now, a lot of trouble happens,
Vice Chair,
Caroline,
right.
on that
And
April
so this
1st.
will reduce costs with respect to energy,
Too
establish
funny.
American independence with energy, and also unleash energy dominance.
Good, thank you. And this is a big deal. We have more energy than
God bless you. Happy
any other
birthday,
country,
April
and now
1st.
we're unleashing
Forget about
put
it.
nicely. And I'd like to ask Doug, you're going to be heading it up. You and Chris, would you say a few words?
I hear you, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
I hear
Good
you,
afternoon.
Michael Beaster.
President Trump wisely understood that under the Biden administration, There was a war against American energy, and today that war officially has ended.
Good.
President Trump on day one declared a national energy emergency.
There he goes, guys.
And this is a real emergency because under the Biden administration restricted the production
War
of
on
oil and
energy
gas.
ended.
Production's still coming, but when you stop holding leases, when you take 625 million acres of land out of ocean land, out of production possibilities through an executive order, you're really restricting the balance sheet of America. But today, as President Trump said, this is unleashed. The National Energy Dominance Council will be made up, all the folks that are standing beside me here, other cabinet leaders and many more, represent President Trump's wise decision that we need a whole of government approach to unwind. The Biden administration had a whole of government approach that had the war against U.S.
Appreciate
energy.
that, Frank.
Now
Eagle.
we
Thank
need
you,
to turn
Frank.
that around 180 degrees and unleash
Appreciate
that
that.
potential. We've got to unleash it from the Gulf of America all the way up to Alaska. We have amazing resources in this country, and we haven't been getting a return on them. Many of these are under public lands. The interior has 500 million acres of surface, 700 million acres of subsurface minerals, critical minerals, and offshore close to 2 billion acres. And that balance sheet is the biggest.
Yeah, where's the
balance sheet in
return
world
on
that's
it,
been
right, guys?
completely underutilized.
Where's the
Everybody
return?
knows we have 36 trillion in debt as a country.
Wow.
No one knows how many hundreds of trillions of dollars of assets we have, and President Trump is asking us to go get a return on that investment for the American people.
John H., I'm ready.
We're gonna have
In about
prosperity
20 minutes,
with
John
lower
H.
prices, and we're also going to have peace abroad, because the wars that we've been engaged in, or our allies have been fighting over the past few years, have been funded by the oil sales of our adversaries. So we have an opportunity, and we also are in an AI arms race with China. The only way we win that is with more electricity, and we also have an.
I don't know what's worse, Sherry, tax day or
too
April's,
much
I
intermittent,
guess, tax
unreliable,
day.
Not enough base load. We've been
Raphael,
trying to
how are you,
base load
Raphael?
we
Good to
have.
see you in here,
President
buddy.
Trump is going to reverse that, and it's going to allow us to win the AI arms race, which is the most important thing that we have to do relative to
Biden allow more
our future.
oil drilling
So with that,
than
I wanna
ever
say
before.
Again, thank you to President Trump, and I want to thank my
From,
fellow
Leslie
members of the
Playfair.
Energy Council here. I'm going to kick it over to the Vice Chair, Chris Wright, who's the Secretary of the Department of Energy.
Thank you, Secretary Burgum. Today is truly a great day for our country today. And Secretary Burgum laid out so many of the problems the last 4 years. If you put barriers in front of energy, you make it more expensive. You make
My
it
birthday's Friday the 13th. What can you say?
business here and harder for our consumers to pay their bills. With this fantastic action from our president, we now have authority across the government to lean in to fix these.
Go get 'em,
problems.
Michael.
And I'll start out with one specific.
Get the
right
exercise
away.
in, brother.
This morning I signed our first LNG export license, unpausing the pause in action. The Commonwealth LNG project that'll be on the Gulf Coast in Louisiana is now officially ready to go. This will be a large construction project for American workers. It'll draw demand for more American energy production that'll be shipped overseas to our allies. Many more of those to come. We're also working aggressively to roll back standards that have made appliances more expensive for Americans, and dishwashers that take 2 hours long and don't get your dishes cleaned. Nobody likes that. That's about standing in the way. And with this president,
I hear you, Rooster.
President Trump and our new National Energy Dominance Council, there's so many things we can do to make American lives better, bring down costs and grow opportunities. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to a fellow member of the council, our administrator of the EPA, Lee Zeldin.
Thank you, Secretary, and honored to be serving on the Energy Dominance Council. At EPA, we're doing our part to power the great American comeback. And President Trump has made it clear that he wants EPA to be doing our job to ensure that we are unleashing energy dominance however we can help, that we are assisting in making America the AI capital of the world, that we are pursuing permitting reform, that we're helping to bring back
Freshly
American
Wild, what's
jobs.
happening, Freshly Wild?
This
Happy
is the
Saturday.
mandate of the American public, that the Trump mandate, it was clear, and the guidance from President Trump to me when he asked me, thankfully, for the opportunity for us to be able to serve together in partnership.
He's really
to
talking about
unleash
dishwashers,
energy dominance.
Christine.
This is a moment that we must meet. To that end, it is important to note that the prior Biden-Harris EPA issued a waiver to California for tailpipe emissions. This was a rule
I'm doing
that should
good,
have been
Freshly
submitted
Wild.
to Congress. We will submit it to Congress. Congress will have the opportunity through the Congressional Review Act to make that waiver go away. We will do everything in our part to help the American people to make life in America more affordable. The golden age of American success is upon us. If you're excited about the last
Robert
3
Lopez.
weeks, that was just a taste of the main event,
Welcome
the
in, guys.
entree to come, the next 4 years being the greatest term in the history of the American presidency. With that, I'd like to introduce Sean Duffy.
Thank you.
How those eggs?
Thank you for
I just heard. Hold on.
work on.
Somebody, first of all, welcome everybody. You're entitled to your own opinion on here. I really mean that. Somebody talk about eggs. Eggs. I just heard today they're going to limit people to get one 12-pack, one carton of eggs. They're going to tell us, I don't need no damn eggs. I don't need them.
Dishwashers, we use more water to wash our dishes.
There we go, dishwashers again.
We're not saving water, we're using more water, so thank you for that.
Dishwashers.
I'm also joining the EPA. We've introduced our rules to start to look at the cafe standards.
Eggs are cheaper in Canada. You hear
How
that?
much it costs for end users.
Eggs are cheaper in Canada. Is that right?
The Biden era,
Come on.
Standards are costing billions of dollars
Dishwashers work in
in
Canada.
taxes and carbon credits, which drive up the cost of vehicles. And so we're going to remedy that, rectify it, and make sure we're bringing down the cost of a car. Number one. Number two, if I can just mention, Mr. President, per your direction,
Yeah, let's
we are
import
going
the
to,
eggs.
move forward with a permitting process for the Texas Gulf Link deep water port, making sure we can move energy in and out of the country. So that was held up for 5 years.
Janine, how's Janine doing? God bless you, Janine. Because Biden didn't kill all the chickens in Canada. That's a good one.
That's great, thanks.
Maribel, they're limiting eggs, you know.
So, the nannies.
You only can get 112 a dozen. Oh, yeah? My wife says you can get 2 dozen.
Straws made of paper.
Justin says $6 a dozen.
Endlessly
In
harming
Canada.
Americans and holding us back. It slows down our production and manufacturing, which we were talking about with the Prime Minister.
$9.
Let me see.
$9.99
How much?
at $9.99, and then you go and get the brown. It's 11. It's in Sam's Club, and I got 2 packs.
Let me see.
This president cares about
Let's sell those
Americans,
eggs.
and you're going
I'm
to
just-
feel it change. You're going to
Hello,
feel
Husky
the
Mom.
price of energy coming down. You're going to feel prices coming down. You're going to
There
feel
you go.
an explosion. The golden age of manufacturing of America has always
Canada.
been there. It's just been stifled by regulation, and that time is over.
Really, John?
Mr. President,
Bruce says his is free, Maribel. Bruce Matthews he's got chickens.
He's been working on this his whole life. And so
Leslie says $4 in Quebec. Wow.
Puerto Rico very high the eggs, and you don't have the aviar there.
Really?
Yeah, Narcos are very high.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And we are also working on a project that has been
I'm surprised.
under wraps for 20 years. Everybody wanted it. It's been held up by New York. It's a pipeline that will bring down the
Pipeline.
energy prices in New
Pipeline.
York and in
Where are you going?
all of New England by 50, 60, 70%. It should have been done years ago. We'll be speaking to New York and
Happy
New
Saturday,
York is
everybody.
actually
Hopefully
the
everybody's
biggest
enjoying the
beneficiary
weekend.
because
27
their
likes. Thank you so
energy
very
costs are
much
very high.
for
This
the
will
likes.
reduce them very
We got eggs.
substantially.
Get your eggs.
All of the governors want this to happen.
Get your eggs now because I heard it. You heard it here on this live. That soon they're only going to allow per person 12 eggs.
Try the Joe. Only one carton.
Energy
And I go,
prices
we
in
said-
New England
and I get 2.
by numbers that
When you
nobody
can
can
go
even believe,
try to
probably
get a
50,
million
60%, maybe even more than that. A lot of them don't even pay energy because they have no energy. They use logs. They go out and they cut down a tree. It's really a terrible situation. So we're going to get this done, and we can have it done once we start construction. We're looking at anywhere from 9 to 12 months, if you can believe it.
9 to
Go very
12 months.
rapidly. The other thing I'd like Doug to
Sherry
mention,
says
the
we buy our from the
635
Amish
million
neighbors.
acres that
I want to go back to you.
so
Very good eggs there, Sherry Wingler.
our net worth.
And she goes, and I'm not,
Standpoint of,
ain't giving up our sources
company, you
either.
talk
Forget
net
about it.
worth. They've destroyed our net worth. We're putting it back. It will be back as of this afternoon. Doug, could you mention that? All of the millions and millions of acres that he just handed back.
Yes,
Nobody.
the executive order by President Biden that wiped out these trillions from our balance sheet. President Trump signed an executive order
Absolutely,
instructing
aka
the
Caroline.
Secretary of Interior to
Where
unban
are you
that
going?
ban, and that's been accomplished. And so those are back on the U.S. balance sheet. The 625 million acres of offshore that was banned from further lease sales.
Further anything.
625 million acres is
Right.
1/3 the size of the lower 48 that was taken off our balance sheet. It's back on there now. President Trump cares about the American people. He knows that these public lands belong to the public. They don't belong to Washington bureaucrats from the prior administration. And we're going to make sure that we get a return on investment for the American people.
A
The amount of
return.
money that he took off our balance sheet, if you look at his balance sheet, it was incalculable. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And he did that, I guess, in the last few days of the administration. He just wiped it out. 635 million acres.
What?
Which if you sit down and look, it's like, that's a major part of the ocean. And he just gave it away and took it away, and fortunately,
Well said, aka
it wasn't
Caroline.
done with an act of Congress
Well
or
said.
anything, and we did
Where are you
it
going
in
now?
I think very abbreviated, very quick, and very
181 in the chat. Happy Saturday. 27
It's
likes.
now back
Appreciate
on
you
our balance
guys.
sheet. It's back as part of our country. What they did was so horrible. It was just a terrible thing to do. An unbelievable thing to do. Also, they mentioned dishwashers and sinks and showers and the whole thing.
It's all about sinks and showers and
We're gonna
everything
get
like
rid of
that.
those restrictions. You have many places where they have water. They have so much water they don't know what
Speaking
to
of
do with
water,
it. But
can you
people
give me-
buy a house, they
I
turn
need a
on
little
the
water.
sink, and
Susu's
water
in the
barely
house.
comes
Hello,
out. They
Susu.
take a shower,
How
water
is
barely
Susu
comes
doing
out.
today?
And
God
it's
bless
an
you.
unnecessary restriction. And basically, I think we were going to be going back to the Trump rule. We had it, and everybody was happy. And then these people came in and they restricted it again. So we're going back, and we'll get it approved by Congress. In addition, we'll get it approved by Congress. So for 4 years, it's good, but we're going to get it permanently taken care of. And again, very environmentally friendly. But we want to be able to, when somebody turns on a sink to wash their hands or presses the button for a dishwasher, and there's barely enough water to...
Welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. Happy Saturday.
They press the
Got to
button.
tell you, though, Trump is focused,
10 times.
making
So
progress.
they're costing a lot.
Return. It's about a return, right? When you get your taxes done, we want a return. I haven't. When was the last time we had a return?
Energy with regards to rules that were enacted during the Biden administration inside of the EPA, we are
Who's that?
overhauling the water sense
Is it?
standards that are there to update them for the American people,
How you know?
to bring down cost of living and combat inflation, and just pursue common sense.
Well, we have more oil and gas than anybody else in the world.
Who gave you my number?
Oh, well, we'll get him. We'll get him.
We got something
He
wrong,
called
Reagan
more
couldn't do
harder.
it.
I know who it
President
is. Yep,
was
I know who it
I
is.
got it. And the first week in office, the Biden administration terminated that. Anwar is the biggest site, probably bigger than Saudi Arabia. We don't know yet, but it's of that size or bigger. And we hit gold, and I call it liquid gold, but we hit gold, and for whatever reason, they terminated it. And we were just ready to start utilizing it. This could take care of all of Asia, energy-wise, very close to Japan. In fact, Japan wants to go and be our partner doing the pipeline going right into the ships. So they expressed tremendous interest. So did Prime Minister Modi of India. And just in closing, both Prime Minister Modi and the Prime Minister of Japan, both very good people, they said, we couldn't make a deal. We couldn't get any energy. I mean, you wonder what was going on with our country. They couldn't make a deal.
Thank
to
you,
get
Waiter
any-
Cooper.
any
Appreciate that.
energy
Thank you
from
so much.
the Biden administration. They just couldn't do it. There was nobody to deal with. They didn't know how to go about it. And they're very happy that we're here. But we're going to really benefit our taxpayers, and we're going to benefit our country. So I want to thank everybody for coming. This is a very big bill. This is really going to be energy dominant. We're going to be energy dominant like nobody else. And this doesn't even discuss all of the electricity that we're going to be producing for all of the AI plants. You know, they need double the electricity at least that we have right now. So you take all of our electricity that we have all over the country just for AI to do it right and to win that war, which we're leading
wasn't
by
it.
a lot because of
No.
what we've done over the last
I know
few
who it
weeks.
is.
We're leading by
I already
actually
know
a
who
lot.
it is, and I
But if you
already
take
got
all of
the.
it, we have to double
I
our
got somebody handle on
electricity
it.
needs just for the AI, and that doesn't include the
I know
other
who it is.
technologies. So it's
I
a
got
real
Tom
honor
on
to
it
sign
right
this
now.
bill. We're going
I got
to
Tom
also
on it
work
right
on
now, yeah.
cafe standards. Lee, you're going to be doing that.
They
And
just tracked him down
make
and
that whole
everything. Kept
situation,
him on.
bring
Good
that
job.
back into reality. and I think very quickly, having to do with cars.
Welcome in, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Trump signing away, Maribel.
No, but in 2 weeks we will have another one. Yesterday was very big. Reciprocal tariffs was very big, and I explained to the Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, very good man, his tariffs are very, very high. India's tariffs are among the highest. And I said, well, now, we were very low. We were the lowest, just about the highest. There are others as high, but not much higher. And
all right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, too, I don't know if you heard, there was another plane crash in Florida.
Yes.
Another plane crash. I know Mike lives there, and Fabian. I don't know if Fabian's still in the chat. Another, I guess there was a pilot crashed in Florida. So many planes are still crashing. Small planes, commuter planes. We had this, what was it, 67 people who lost their lives in Washington. Now the detail is they had night vision. On that one over Washington had night vision. So we got planes still going down. A little odd to me that planes are going down. Yes, I think it was it this morning or late last night, Maribel? I think it was earlier this morning or late last night. Another plane in Florida went down. So we have that going on. And so my sources tell me that the night vision goggles were on that flight that flew from I believe it was from Kansas City to Washington. So we have that going on. Also, the John F. K. the documents. We're getting real close to hearing what's going on in the John F. K. and Martin Luther King, the real truth. They've been hiding for many, many, many years, right? Now we're going to let us know what the hell's going on with that. And I believe these wars are going to be ending. The economy's in the right direction with a few bumps here and there. I'll take some time to read some comments here. Yeah, I would too, Janine. I think most of us would like to know. And we're getting real close on that. So he's working. Trump is continuing to just pound away. It's so calm, collective today. Usually he's a little hyper, but he's very sure of himself there. We've seen him multiple times there, doing a great job. And, getting closer to Putin and, keeping Putin kind of right where he wants him at. And I believe it's going to help out. As soon as these wars end, you're going to see a big difference with these pipelines and our gas going down. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, I'll make a strong statement, Maribel. Vegas will probably be around 2-something. On a nation average within the next couple of weeks, for me, I think we're going to see around 220, 210. So Trump's getting that all going as well. Yes, it is. What happened? I'll tell you. All right. Read a few more comments here.
You don't see it. So the camera don't go to the kitchen. He can walk.
Huh? Yeah, you can. You're not on camera.
You're on camera. He's just looking that.
Oh my God! Go around the other way.
Charlie, tell the camera he want to go to the kitchen.
Go ahead. Go the other way.
Are you sure?
Yes, go ahead. You're not shown. All right. My son didn't want to be on the live, so go like this. There we go. All right, guys. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. Did you have a good night out? I know the weather here in Vegas, you've seen the snow live on Thursday. A huge amount of snow. Yes, Susu, they had their parade. Thanks for asking. They had their parade on yesterday. I did not go. And speaking of the parade, I'm glad you made it up. There was a shooting in Philly, but nobody serious. I think I had 2 people were released in the hospital. But yeah, I did not go to the parade. They had it yesterday. It was a good turnout. Yeah, the snow was really nice, Mike. Had a good time in the snow. It was nice to get away. I still miss the snow. Being from Philly and Jersey, it was nice to go 45 minutes away. And by the way, that live, guys, the internet held off better than Cox. And then it broke about 45 minutes. We ended up going to eat at the hotel, stayed for about an hour, and then went down the mountain. Went back up the mountain a little bit and then down, and then it changed to rain. And then all the way home, it was a lot of rain. So yeah, Vegas, unusual amount of snow, and rain that we needed. Also, mudslides. Lots of mudslides right now. And a 3.5 earthquake in California. So, boy, California, I think it was Malibu, major mudslides and from all that fire and all that mud going down and homes being destroyed. But, you know, Trump's got it all together and make sure that people get their money necessary to rebuild their homes. But yeah, more mudslides, earthquake, a small one, but still nonetheless, and cars getting buried, homes that were not affected by the fires are completely gone by these mudslides. And they predicted, they knew that the rain was going to come to California, and they got a lot of rain. And same area, Malibu, parts of Malibu and LA County. It's a shame. All right. Somebody says Trump needs to be removed from office. Continues, will die otherwise. That's no other option.
Oh, gosh.
Hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. We will be live later on tonight once again. CD Fishing. Hello, CD Fishing. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. But anyhow, I think Trump. I think he looks to me on that line. He looked very confident, and we're getting really close to Putin. I believe he's got the right decision. I mean, I don't know what happened with Biden in the last few years. There was no attempt. There was a bit of him just being not there. Had that Alzheimer's, in my opinion, and now you got somebody who's running the country as a leader and making progress. And it's good to see that the wars will eventually end real soon, and the economy will do much, much better. And hopefully we can get these eggs under control. All right. Yeah, it was a nice drive, Sherry. It was nice to get away, up there. My wife didn't like it too much until she got up there. It was nice. A nice little getaway. And I got to tell you, it was nice to see when you're up in the snow, you can hear yourself think, hey, Kenneth, how are you? You can just hear yourself think. Everything is so quiet. I mean, you heard some kids playing in the snow, but it was very, very nice. So it was nice to go up there. Also, there was a homeless couple. It was nice. One lady goes, I don't know if you guys didn't see my shorts. Where's your wife at? These people are human like we are. And after she said thank you, she wasn't looking out for handouts or money. It was nice. And then I gave her, I think it was her husband or boyfriend. It was her husband that she's with, Maribel? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't afford an apartment.
They couldn't. Her husband could not afford an apartment. And they're on the street, but what a good attitude, like smiling. And I gave him a jacket, and he was like, you sure? Like he's asking me, you sure you want to give it to him? I'm like, yeah. And all the donations I've gotten from a lot of people on here. And it was nice to hear her say, hey, where's your wife at? She okay? Happy Valentine's Day.
That's why you give me the hearts, chocolate.
Yeah, we gave her some chocolate, cheesecake, chocolate covered strawberries. So we made sure they were okay before we headed up to the mountains, and then when we came down the next day we did as well. So we're going to continue, guys, helping out as many homeless. I got big plans, much bigger plans. I'm very confident that Trump will get this together here in Vegas and different parts of the states, in California as well, Florida and Oregon, and get the people the help they needed, but have it treated with doctors and psychiatrists and nutritionists. He needs to really get that in If he doesn't, I will be calling his office. And I support Trump. But hopefully we see some progress with that as well for these homeless people. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna tune out of here. I'm gonna come back on later on tonight. Got to do some errands around here. I just wanted to bring you up to date with Trump, and hopefully we get these wars ended and we can continue and not worry about what's going on in other countries, because we got enough of our own little problems here in the United States and in our families that we don't need to worry about these wars. And I'm pretty confident they're going to be ending soon. I appreciate everybody coming on here on this Saturday. Been on almost an hour. Thank you so very, very much. I will be on tonight. Make sure you have the bell notification on, not just for my channel, for your favorite YouTube channels, so you get those updates when he or she is on. So we will be on tonight. I just don't know what time. Got some things to take care of. I appreciate all the likes and all the support and the donations and all the memberships. Appreciate all the memberships. Thank you so very much. God bless you and your family. High five, fist bump. Take care, guys.